Hello mates, Insane Bastard with you once again. I promised you I'd make this video, and that's what I'm doing right now. This is going to be my video about the first two books of the Bible, Genesis and Exodus. Now, I've not rehearsed this at all, I've not scripted this at all, so I'm just going to talk to the camera about my thoughts about these books and see where that fucking leads me. Don't know why I'm holding the camera like this. I figured I'd try a new method of making videos where I hold my Logitech camera webcam up to my face like a regular camera, pan around my room, see where I make these fucking videos and shit. So, Genesis, basically, you have the creation of the universe, and of the world, and fucking the Garden of Eden, and Adam and Eve, and no, Eve wouldn't have known that eating the apple from the tree would have been a bad thing to do, because she didn't have the knowledge of right and wrong and all that shit, so, you know, God kicked them out of fucking Eden, and it traces the lineage from Adam to Noah, and from Noah onward to Moses. It doesn't quite get to Moses, but it's to right before Moses, basically. It's basically there's a lineage, and all the heroes of Genesis come from that lineage, and it's descended in a right line from Adam, but I figure since Christians believe that all lineages are descended from a right line to Adam, you can say it's the lineage of Noah, I guess. So we have a bunch of fucked up stories. We have the war with the 5 kings or whatever. We got the Sodom and Gomorrah, the Tower of Babel, the Great Flood, Abraham and Isaac, all things that atheists like to talk about and pick apart and say that God was a douche, shit like that. I was surprised to learn that those were all in the first book. It's those stories and Leviticus that I see atheists go after a lot, and it makes me wonder. I mean, if they know all those stories, yeah, they know those stories and verses, the ones that I just mentioned, but they're all in the first fucking book, so it makes me wonder if they didn't just read, Genesis, and then some of the more educated ones read up through Leviticus as well. But that's neither here nor there. One story that I want to focus on is Jacob and Esau. So Esau, not Esau, yeah, Esau. Basically, here's how the fucking story goes. If I remember my scripture correctly, Jacob and Esau were the sons of Isaac. Something like that, yeah. So, God told Isaac that his sons, the one that came out second, would dominate the older one. And when they were born, a hand came out, and they tied a red string around it, and then the hand went back in, and then a baby came out that was not the baby's hand, it was the other baby that came out, and his name was Esau, and Jacob came out holding him by the thigh, or not by the thigh, by the ankle, and that's how they were born. Now Esau grew up to be what in my opinion amounts to a very honorable and hard-working person. He was very strong and a very good hunter, and he kept his promises and shit like that. And Jacob really was more of a leech than anything. I mean, he was a shepherd, yeah, but he was weak. He didn't like doing work. He spent a lot of time inside. He couldn't fight. He couldn't hunt. And as stories about him would prove, he was extremely dishonest. And yet Jacob was the one that was destined to find favor with God, and that's what I don't understand about the whole story. How could this be considered moral? Basically, Isaac loved Esau more, and Esau's mother loved Jacob more. And so, one fucking day, when Esau came into the tent and found Jacob cooking some stew, Esau said, "Hey, I'm hungry and I want some stew. You're my brother, give me some." Esau says, "Fuck you, give me your birthright." And what the fuck kind of price is... Who asks for someone's birthright as a fucking payment for some stew? Like, if I was in Jacob's place, I would have just given my fucking brother some fucking food. because he's fucking hungry, and I haven't been fucking doing anything the whole fucking day except fucking cooking the fucking stew, so what the fuck? That's just one. And Esau, being the debt-paying, honorable person that he is, gave up Jacob his birthright. And he was, okay, and a lot of the few rebuttals that I've heard about that story, because I haven't heard many references to that story, there's really no discussion about it, but I have heard some things about it. The few times I hear Christians talk about that, they always say something like, Esau was impatient. He gave up his birthright to Jacob just because he was a little hungry. He wasn't just a little hungry. It said in the Bible that he was about to fucking die. So, Jacob is just being an asshole. Essentially. I mean, he demands a fucking birthright from Esau just to give him a little food. I'm sorry. That is a dick move. That's a fucking dick move. And yet God evidently still loves Jacob more than Esau, because it says so right in the fucking Bible. So next we have Isaac being an old man and having seeing problems, and he still loves Esau more, and rightfully so, because Esau is the more honorable of the two brothers, based on the descriptions given in the Bible. And so Jacob calls Esau over one day, and he says, Esau, I'm going to die pretty soon. Why don't you go out and hunt me something, hunt me some food, and come back and cook it, and when I've eaten, I'll give you my blessing, because I'm a loving father and all that shit. So Esau obeys, and he goes out to hunt. And their mother, Esau and Jacob's mother, overhears this, and she loves Jacob more, so she says, hey, Jacob, why don't you go slaughter a sheep from our flock, and you can just pretend to be Esau, because your father won't notice the difference, especially if you wear a goat skin or whatever. He'll think you're Esau, and he'll give you the blessing instead of Esau. So Jacob swindled Esau. He extorted Esau out of his birthright, and he swindled Esau out of his blessing from his father. And when Isaac found out that he had blessed Jacob and not Esau, he was extremely upset about this, but at the same time he could not give a blessing to Esau. So Jacob is a dick twice already. So then Jacob goes out to fucking find a wife, and he finds a man who has two daughters, and he wants the younger one, so he works for the man as a shepherd, and he gives him the older one instead, and he says, no, fuck this, I want the younger one. The man's name is Laban, by the way, and Laban says, no, you gotta fucking work for me some more if you want the younger one as your wife. So he gets that one too, and now he's got no money, and he's got a shitload of children by his two wives and their servants. Yeah, big fucking orgy of a family they got going on there. But Laban has Jacob work for him more, and Jacob wants all the striped and spotted sheep or whatever in Laban's flock. He wants to go through the flock and pick them out. And so before Laban lets him do this, he himself picks out all the striped and spotted ones and sends them somewhere else and leaves only the white ones. But Jacob uses the power of God to fucking swindle Laban back and get all the fucking striped and spotted ones for himself, which I suppose is the good thing to do. I mean, I don't think he should have swindled, Laban. God helped him do it, but God could have easily just told Laban, hey, give him his fucking payment and shit. But no, God, decided to help Jacob to swindle Laban back out of the payment that he swindled him out of. But not only that, he took it a step further, and he swindled him out of every single striped and spotted sheep that was born in Laban's flock. And those sheep just happened to be the strongest ones, because God made it that way. So we see God taking this fucking loser of a fucking motherfucker, someone who's fucking lazy and deceitful and dishonest, and helping him to gain prosperity. And that's something I don't understand. And later we see that Jacob is also a coward, because when he goes back home with his family, he fucking flings himself at Esau's feet and starts sucking his cock. Not literally, but starts kissing his ass and shit, saying, oh, I'm sorry, please don't kill me and shit. I'm forever your servant. What the fuck? No, if I was Isao, I would have fucking killed that motherfucker right there. He did enough harm already.